Welcome back to the channel Coins Buyers. Today's video where we take a deep dive into the fascinating world of rare United States coins and uncover the story behind the 2001 1-cent coin, a piece of everyday change that has shocked collectors, historians, and treasure hunters because certain rare examples of this coin have reached an astonishing value of up to $92 million, far beyond its humble 1-cent face value, and the reason why this common penny from the turn of the 21st century could ever achieve such unimaginable worth is because of the mysterious world of minting errors, striking mistakes, and rare mint mark anomalies that transform ordinary currency into priceless treasures. And when we look back at the history of the 2001 1-cent coin, also known as the Lincoln cent, we realize that it belongs to a long and proud tradition that began in 1909 when the Lincoln design was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, a design that has remained beloved and widely recognized across the United States and beyond. But while billions of these coins were produced in the year 2001 at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, not all of them came out exactly the way they were intended, because the minting process, though highly precise, is not immune to flaws, and it is in those rare flaws where the unimaginable values are found. Because a small error overlooked by inspectors or unnoticed as coins entered circulation can turn a penny into a fortune, and collectors around the globe have documented unusual examples of the 2001 1-cent coin showing double die errors where the design appears to be doubled either on Lincoln's profile, the lettering of liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or the date itself, and these doubling errors are highly sought after since they prove that the die used to strike the coin shifted or struck twice, leaving a noticeable duplicate impression, and beyond doubling, there are also off-center strikes where part of the design is missing because the coin blank was misaligned when struck, creating an unusual incomplete coin that still carries historical significance. And then there are rare cases of broad strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks where lines appear across the surface due to a damaged die, all of which add to the mystique and scarcity. And perhaps the most captivating of all errors are mint mark anomalies, because the 2001 penny was struck with both a P mint mark for Philadelphia and a D mint mark for Denver, but in certain rare instances, collectors have discovered coins with missing mint marks, mispunched mint marks, or even repunched mint marks where the letter was struck more than once in slightly different positions, and these varieties have been catalogued by specialists as unique markers of extreme rarity. And when we combine historical significance with collector demand, the result is breathtaking valuations. And though most 2001 1-cent coins are worth only their face value or perhaps a few cents above depending on condition, the rarest error examples have been documented selling for extraordinary amounts, some fetching tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands in auctions, and in a few legendary cases where error rarity, condition, and collector interest aligned, private sales have pushed values into the millions, with rumors of one extraordinary specimen trading hands for as much as $92 million, a number that defies logic. Until you realize that rare collectibles, like paintings, stamps, or ancient artifacts, often break records when wealthy collectors compete for ownership of something that may never appear again. And so the 2001 1-cent penny is not just pocket change, it is a reminder of how imperfection can lead to greatness, how a tiny mistake in a high-speed minting press can create a unique artifact that becomes a prized possession. And it also illustrates why collectors carefully examine every detail of their coins, because something as simple as a double date, an off-center strike, or a missing mint mark can turn an ordinary coin into the find of a lifetime. And this raises the question of possibility, because thousands of 2001 pennies are still in circulation, tucked away in jars, drawers, piggy banks, and collections, and anyone could unknowingly be holding one of these treasures. So while most of these coins will forever remain ordinary 1-cent pieces, the mere possibility that a hidden rarity exists drives the excitement and passion of numismatics, and that is why the story of the 2001 1-cent coin continues to capture the imagination of people worldwide, because in a world where money is usually defined only by face value, these rare examples remind us that history, error, and rarity can transform a coin into something beyond measure. And whether you are a seasoned collector or just curious about the change in your pocket, the tale of the 2001 penny is proof that hidden treasures are all around us waiting to be discovered. Today we dive deep into the fascinating story of the 2006 United States Liberty 1-cent coin, a coin that carries the humble face value of just 1 cent but has stunned collectors and experts with reports of examples that have been valued as high as $87 million because of their unique errors, minting mistakes, and rare variations that transform what looks like an ordinary penny into one of the most extraordinary treasures in modern coin collecting history. And as we explore this topic, you will discover why a coin so common and so recent can sometimes end up being so special. So let us begin with the fact that the 2006 Lincoln cent was produced in the Denver and Philadelphia mints in massive quantities. Billions of them were struck and released into circulation as part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which began in 1959 to commemorate the 150th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, and yet despite the enormous numbers produced, it is always within such large mintages that mistakes and oddities find a way to slip through the strict quality control of the U.S. Mint, and these rare pieces become the focus of attention because errors create rarity, rarity creates demand, and demand skyrockets value. So in the case of the 2006 1-cent coin, what collectors have noticed are a number of unusual varieties and mint errors that elevate its value far beyond 1 cent, including double die obverse examples where Lincoln's portrait shows doubling around the eyes, nose, or lettering, which can sometimes be dramatic enough to be seen without magnification, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet was not aligned properly when struck, broad strike errors that leave the rim distorted, clipped planchets where the coin is missing a small curved section because of mistakes in cutting the blanks, and even transitional errors where coins have been struck on the wrong type of metal planchet carried over from a previous production cycle, and collectors especially prize those rare 1 in a billion mistakes where a penny is struck on a dime or nickel planchet, making it instantly one of the rarest coins in existence. And when such an error happens in a more recent year like 2006, the appeal increases because most collectors assume modern coins are too tightly monitored to let mistakes slip out, so when they do, they create a frenzy in the marketplace. And that is why some reports suggest that certain unique 2006 error cents have reached astronomical figures, even up to $87 million in auctions or private collector valuations, because uniqueness is everything in coin collecting. If there is only one known example of a particular error, then it essentially becomes priceless, and while most 2006 cents are worth only face value or perhaps a few cents in circulated condition, the possibility of holding a once-in-a-lifetime error makes every coin worth checking, and so collectors carefully examine the mint marks on 2006 pennies because errors can occur there too, such as repunched mint marks, missing mint marks, or even mismatched dies where a coin may show features not intended for its mint, and these mint mark errors can catapult a coin's value from ordinary to extraordinary, especially if certified by professional grading services. And what adds even more fascination is the psychology of collecting itself, because collectors around the world are drawn to the thrill of finding hidden value in plain sight. The idea that a simple coin you might pick up in your pocket change or find in a jar could potentially be worth millions creates a sense of excitement that fuels the entire coin hobby, and that excitement is magnified when the coin in question is a modern piece like the 2006 cent, because unlike a 200-year-old rare coin which no one expects to see in circulation, modern coins are still encountered every day, making the dream feel within reach for everyone. And when we consider the story of coins like the 2006 cent, we also touch on the broader history of Lincoln cents, a series that has endured since 1909 and has been filled with legendary rarities like the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, and the famous 1955 double die, and each of those coins gained its fame and value because of low mintages or minting mistakes, proving that history repeats itself and that even in the 21st century, coins like the 2006 can join that elite category if the right error or variety is discovered. And this is why collectors spend countless hours searching through rolls of pennies, scouring estate sales, and studying coin shows, because the reward is not only the monetary value but the thrill of discovery itself. And so as we reflect on the possibility of a 2006 1-cent piece being valued at $87 million, it serves as a reminder that every coin has a story, every minting year offers possibilities, and every collector has the chance to uncover something truly extraordinary if they take the time to look closely, study the details, and learn about the errors that can turn a simple copper-plated zinc cent into a masterpiece of numismatic history. So whether you are a beginner just starting to look at your change more carefully or an experienced collector who has searched for decades, the lesson here is that the world of coins still has mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And the 2006 1-cent coin stands as a shining example of how a small mistake at the mint can create a giant treasure for someone who is lucky enough and observant enough to find it. And that is why today we celebrate not just the story of one coin but the endless possibilities that keep this fascinating hobby alive and thriving, reminding us that sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden in the smallest places and it only takes patience, curiosity, and a keen eye to discover them. Where we take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins in the history of United States currency, the 2004 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface looks like nothing more than a simple penny worth just a cent in everyday circulation but in reality can hold an astonishing value of up to $48 million because of the extremely rare errors, minting mistakes, and unusual variations that collectors and experts have identified over the years, making this coin a shining example of how something so small in value can become priceless in the world of numismatics. And as we begin to uncover its story, you will understand why thousands of collectors search tirelessly through change jars, pocket money, and old coin rolls just hoping to stumble across one of these extraordinary pieces, because the history, errors, and the mint mark anomalies surrounding the 2004 penny all combine to create a legend that elevates it far beyond its simple face value. To begin, the 2004 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary production sites for United States coins, and like many other years in the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, billions of them were made, meaning that the vast majority are still common, ordinary, and worth only a single cent. But within this massive production came rare mistakes, errors during the striking process, and mint mark issues that created variety so scarce that they have been valued in the millions, and it is this combination of rarity, condition, and desirability that has driven collectors to place astronomical prices on these elusive examples, sometimes fetching offers that rival the most legendary coins in American history. One of the major factors that makes the 2004 penny so desirable is the possibility of double die errors, which occur when the coin is struck more than once with slight misalignment, creating a doubling effect on the date, lettering, or even the design features like Lincoln's portrait or the Lincoln Memorial itself, and these doubling errors are often visible without magnification, making them striking to the eye, instantly identifiable, and heavily sought after by numismatists, with rare, dramatic examples commanding unbelievable prices at auctions. Another error that can be found in the 2004 penny is the off-center strike, where the coin was not properly seated in the press during striking, leaving parts of the design missing or shifted awkwardly to one side, and depending on how dramatic this error is, collectors will pay staggering amounts, especially when the date and mint mark remain visible, as that combination of rarity and identifiable authenticity is what sets one coin apart from millions of others. Beyond these striking errors, one of the most intriguing and valuable aspects of the 2004 penny is the mint mark error possibilities, where this D if a Denver may appear doubled, repunched, faint, misplaced, or in some cases completely missing. And such mint mark anomalies have been known to skyrocket the value of coins because they provide a clear marker of uniqueness that can be directly traced back to a particular die or production mistake at the mint. And since mint mark errors are already scarce, having them appear on a widely circulated coin like the 2004 makes it a treasure worth far more than its face value. Collectors also hunt for clipped planchette errors in the 2004 pennies, where the blank metal disc was improperly cut during production, leaving a curved clip or flat edge on the coin, and such errors not only make the coin visually distinct but also rare, since most clipped coins were discarded before leaving the mint, yet a few slipped into circulation and today are highly prized, often fetching thousands or even millions depending on condition and rarity. In addition to these errors, environmental factors and unusual toning also play a role in the value of the 2004 penny, because a coin that develops unique rainbow-like colors due to chemical reactions with its environment can capture the imagination of collectors, and when combined with error features, such toning can multiply the desirability and value of the coin many times over. And this is why coin grading services and expert appraisers carefully evaluate such details to confirm authenticity and assign value. What makes the 2004 penny even more compelling is the fact that so many of these errors and varieties remain undiscovered, hidden in jars of change, forgotten piggy banks, or passed over by people who assume it is nothing but an ordinary penny, meaning that right now, one of the most valuable coins in the world could be sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket. And this tantalizing possibility fuels the drive of treasure hunters and collectors everywhere, constantly inspiring people to check their coins more carefully and to learn about the telltale signs of error pennies that could change their lives forever. The market for error coins has exploded in recent years, with collectors willing to pay record-breaking amounts for coins with proven rarity and authenticity, and the 2004 penny with its potential for double-die varieties, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, mint mark mistakes, and other unusual anomalies has become one of the most talked about modern Lincoln cents because its value has reached the unbelievable figure of $48 million in certain auction stories and collector circles. A price tag that leaves people in awe of how a small copper-plated zinc coin that was once used casually to buy candy or sit forgotten in a drawer can transform into an object of such immense worth. So as we reflect on the story of the 2004 penny, it becomes clear that the real magic of coin collecting lies in these mysteries and surprises, because every coin tells a story, and every rare error holds the potential to be discovered, and for the lucky person who finds that one extraordinary example, a single cent could open the door to a fortune worth millions, proving once again that history, mistakes, and rarity all come together to create legends in the world of numismatics, and the 2004 penny stands as a shining example of how valuable even the smallest coin can become when fate, error, and rarity align in the most unexpected ways.